The Queen Consort spent a quiet moment of reflection at a memorial in honor of Queen Elizabeth II. Image, PA. Camilla was left very moved on Thursday as she paid tribute to her late mother-in-law as she marked the start of royal remembrance events. She spent a quiet moment of reflection at a memorial in honor of the Queen on ground to the north of St. Margaret's Church, close to Westminster Abbey, during a visit to the Field of Remembrance to honor the nation's war dead. Camilla, 75, viewed the temporary plot created for the nation to leave floral and other tributes to the late monarch after she had recognized the sacrifices of those who fought and died for their country. In the Abbey's Field of Remembrance, she placed a tiny wooden cross adorned with a red poppy and her new royal cipher into a larger cross made from the flowers forever associated with Flanders Fields in the First World War. The visit came as the nation prepares for a 2-minute silence at 11 a.m. for Armistice Day on Friday. Surgeon Rear Admiral Lionel Jarvis, president of the Poppy Factory, which organizes all the memorial plots at the Abbey, joined the Queen Consort as she viewed the site dedicated to Elizabeth II's memory. It featured 2 pictures of her taken at the Field of Remembrance in the late 1940s and in 2002, the year she lost her mother and her sister, Princess Margaret. Admiral Jarvis said afterwards, "The Queen Consort was very moved and thought it was a lovely touch and said she was looking forward to seeing it filled with flowers." He added, "Queen Elizabeth II did service in the Second World War. She herself was a veteran and it's poignant to remember her service as head of the armed forces throughout her reign, and there is no better place to remember her." The Queen Consort was joined by more than 1,000 veterans in the Abbey grounds, where around 70,000 crosses and other symbols are laid out in 308 plots according to regiment, unit or association, by volunteers. The event has been running since 1928 when Major George Howson MC suggested using land outside Westminster Abbey as a place where anyone could plant a poppy in memory of a loved one, and 2 crosses were planted that year. Outside the Abbey, the Veterans and Royal Party observed a 2-minute silence as Big Ben chimed 11 a.m., in remembrance of those who have lost their lives in defense of their country. Camilla was wearing a green dress and the emblem of Colonel-in-Chief of the Rifles. Image, Getty. Afterwards, Queen Camilla, wearing a green dress and the emblem of Colonel-in-Chief of the Rifles, a patronage she took over from Prince Philip before his death, toured the individual plots, chatting to many retired servicemen and women. Chelsea pensioner Peter Fulham, 89, who served with the Black Watch, had met the Queen Consort before at previous Field of Remembrance events. He said, "She said to me, 'I remember you,' and I was a bit cheeky and asked her, 'How's your new job going?' and she said, 'It's fine.'" She also met Peter Carey, formerly of the Territorial Army 10 Para, who also works with the Taxi Charity for military veterans. They exchanged stories about 101-year-old Ron Johnson, a Second World War glider pilot who served in Operation Market Garden, the daring airborne mission to liberate the Netherlands and cross the Rhine into Germany. Mr. Carey has taken him under his wing. Mr. Johnson escaped from the same prisoner of war camp, Spangenberg Castle, as Camilla's late father Bruce Shange. Over the years, Camilla has sent Mr. Johnson a signed copy of her father's book about his experiences, while as Prince of Wales her husband sent him a special bottle of whiskey to mark his 100th birthday, hand-delivered by a member of his staff. "They are wonderful people. It means a great deal to Ron and all of the veterans," Mr. Carey said. Jeff Borsick, who spoke to Camilla, said he had been in contact with her over his campaign to create a national memorial to Britain's 90,000 civilian war dead. "It is the untold story of conflict," he said. Mr. Borsack's own parents were killed in Birmingham when a bomb landed on their air raid shelter. He was 3 at the time and only survived as they had taken him to hospital earlier in the day with measles. In the confusion, he was sent to an orphanage. "We were the unseen, unacknowledged victims of the Blitz," he said. Her Majesty is very sympathetic to the idea of a memorial. I have been conversing with her office. I am 85 and I can't be doing this for much longer at my age. Patrick Callahan, 70, a resident of the Royal Hospital, Chelsea, and former serviceman with the Green Howards, said the Queen Consort stopped when she saw his uniform and remarked, "You Chelsea pensioners are looking a lot younger these days." "She's wonderful," he said. Queen Camilla also stopped to pet the mascot of the Staffordshire Regimental Association, the grandly named Corporal Watchman V. Naturally, a Staffordshire Bull Terrier, the friendly dog was with his hander WO2 Greg Hedges. She's met him twice before, as well as his predecessor. She clearly loves her dogs, he said. Deirdre Mills, the chief executive of the Poppy Factory, which organizes the plots, said, "Her Majesty's commitment to the ex-forces community has been unwavering. We are grateful to Her Majesty the Queen Consort for her continued support as we look to help hundreds more veterans overcome barriers on their journey towards employment." The Queen Consort chatting to many retired servicemen and women. Image, Getty. Comment by Leo McKinstry. The passage of time has done nothing to lessen the heart-rending poignancy of Remembrance Day. As the nation falls silent at 11 o'clock on Friday, marking the moment in November 1918 when the guns ceased firing at the end of the First World War, the autumnal stillness only reinforces our sense of awe and debt at the sacrifices made by the heroes of previous generations. Nothing better captures this feeling of reverent obligation than the words of the fallen by Lawrence Binyon, who was moved to write this poem in 1914 by the terrible unfolding carnage on the Western Front. They shall grow not old, as we who are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them, or among its most resonant lines that will echo in ceremonies across our land both Friday and Sunday. Binyon's stirring words are part of the fabric of homage at this unique moment in our calendar, when we seek to transcend the present by honoring the bravery of the past. Other images and sounds help to fulfill this impulse, from the mournful chimes of Big Ben to the rendition of the Last Post on a solitary bugle, from the scarlet poppies of the British Legion to the epic simplicity of the cenotaph in Whitehall, past which scores of valiant ex-servicemen and women will march on Sunday. But this year's remembrance events have been given added emotive power because they take place just 2 months after the death of our beloved monarch Queen Elizabeth II, whose own long life perfectly embodied the qualities of discipline, service, courage and selflessness that have characterized our armed forces. The Queen herself served in the military during the Second World War as a mechanic and driver with the Auxiliary Territorial Service, while her unbreakable link with Army, Navy and Air Force was a central feature of her record-breaking reign. It was a bond she shared with her husband, Prince Philip, who had been a naval hero in the conflict and would have probably risen to the top of the Admiralty if he had not been compelled to give up his career on his marriage to Elizabeth. At the time of her passing, our military paid full tribute to her memory through the magnificent grandeur and precision with which they conducted all the rituals, particularly the spell-binding funeral. On a smaller but still impressive scale, those virtues will be on display on Friday, Saturday at the British Legion's Festival of Remembrance and on Sunday morning. Amid all the recent political and economic turmoil, we can still take pride in unrivaled performance and heritage of those who defend us. The tie between royalty, the military and British history could be clearly seen on Thursday when Camilla the Queen Consort visited the Field of Remembrance outside Westminster Abbey to place a cross and speak to ex-services personnel. The tradition of the field started in 1928 when 2 crosses were planted on the grass at the Abbey. Now, in another indicator of Remembrance Day's capacity to stir our hearts, there are more than 70,000 crosses laid out in 360 representing different associations, regiments and units. As she performed her duties, the Queen Consort exuded dignity and veneration, but the feeling of loss at the Queen's death still hung in the air under the bruised sky. At one point, Camilla went to pay her respects at a special plot laid in memory of Her Majesty. It was a mission steeped in sorrow, for on this plot were two pictures of the Queen taken at the Field of Remembrance in 2002, the year she lost both her mother and her sister. 20 years later, we again honor her, alongside all those who lost their lives in protecting her country.